Although it's not officially fall, in my heart, it is. And to me, that can only mean one thing, that it is time to break out some of my favorite fall listens, the albums that to me feel like crisp afternoons, Halloween nights, and everything in between. Hello everyone, welcome back to Pretty in Punk. My name is Fiona and I am your host and girly girl guide to the world of punk, rock, and everything in between. Today, I am breaking down my personal perfect soundtrack for sweater weather and spooky season. I'll be sharing a little bit over 9 records with you guys, plus some honorable mentions that to me just encapsulate the feeling of the season as a whole. I've broken these down into 3 different categories for different vibes of the season, and these are albums that to me just really stick out and feel like fall. Side note, I do know that I focus a lot on punk on this channel, but a lot of these albums actually aren't punk. While yes, I do have a few punk and harder albums on this list, I'm really excited to dive into a lot of other genres as well. Keep that in mind, this isn't a full-blown punk video like I normally do. We have a lot of different genres going on in here, but I think if you are just an overall music lover like me, you will at least find one album in this list that you will love for the season. So without further ado, I say we just get into it. As I said, I am breaking these down into 3 different categories. The first category that I have for you all is what I am calling dreamy and melancholic albums. Let's start with the softer side of fall, right? The cozy, rainy day albums that kind of capture the mix of nostalgia and melancholy and the cozier type of fall feel. Number 1 on my list, let's kick it off with Peripheral Vision by Turnover. This album to me is honestly the perfect fall album. I mean, the second that I put it on, I picture myself walking to class in a cozy sweater, coffee in hand, leaves falling around me. This was an album I definitely would listen to a lot in college, especially during the fall semester. It just has that sound to me. Even the cover alone of the album with those muted, earthy tones, it just gives me that fall vibe. The instrumentation alone on this album has that spacey, indie feel with a little bit of melancholy in there that really nails the autumn vibe. And it's super versatile too. You can really sink into it and deeply listen to the album, or you can just let it play in the background while you are looking out the window on a rainy day during the fall. Like, to me, it can feel like the soundtrack to a rainy day inside or a fall road trip up to a mountain town. The guitars are light and dreamy, and the vocals just float so beautifully over everything. To me, the standout tracks are Hello Euphoria, like Slow Disappearing, and Cutting My Fingers Off. Those just radiate this energy that I am talking about. When I think of this album, I just think of going for a long walk during the fall and really listening to this album and diving deep into it. Next up, we have For Emma, Forever Ago by Bon Iver. If there is one album that defines fall for me, it is For Emma, Forever Ago. My boyfriend and I actually, we call this the fall album. Every time it's a cozy day, we're like, we need to put this on immediately. The other morning we woke up and it was 62 degrees out. Immediately we put this album on. I went up to a trip in the Catskills last year and I listened to it on the way up. To me, this is the soundtrack to fall. One thing that makes it so perfect for the season really is Justin Vernon's voice. I mean, it has this really fragile quality to it, the falsetto especially. The record kind of has that balance of coziness and melancholy in a way. It's tender and raw, but also has this almost ghostly edge to it that fits the season's darker side. To me, tracks like Lump Sum and Creature Fear, which are 2 of my personal favorites on the album, they definitely lean into that haunting energy, but also the layered harmonies feel almost cinematic, and they feel very fall to me, and they feel like the soundtrack to an October hike or a rainy night in. Honestly, this album doesn't just feel like fall, it is fall to me. This is one album that I am always listening to every single year, every fall. As soon as September comes, even before fall, when I feel that crisp in the air, this is the album that I am turning to.
And one day we will die, and our ashes will fly from the aeroplane over the sea.
The next album that really screams fall to me in this dreamy, melancholic way is Neutral Milk Hotel in the Airplane Over the Sea. This album to me feels like, when you listen to it, nostalgia and new beginnings, two feelings that I really associate with this season. Oftentimes, like right after Labor Day, when I start to get the itch for fall, I really start to feel like that. To me, September is the new year. I know January is the new calendar year, but to me, September is the start of new beginnings. And this album kind of feels like that to me in a way. And because of that, I always connect it with this season. The title track, especially for me, really nails that vibe in my head, at least. And also songs like Oh Comely and Two-Headed Boy. What makes it so perfect to me is that raw feel of it. And it really matches fall's in-betweenness kind of vibe. To me, fall is the start of something new, but it's also the beginning of the end of the year, if that makes sense. And this album just really feels like that to me when I put it on. Musically, everything from the horns, the acoustic strums, the fuzzed out kind of bursts of noise in there, it all feels like bonfires and cozy nights and this mixture of joy and melancholy all coming together. It's like the soundtrack to a foggy October morning in my head. It is nostalgic, maybe a little bit eerie at times, and totally, to me, is the perfect soundtrack for fall. It's like sitting inside, watching the rain fall down the window and watching the world change around you. And that is the soundtrack in the background. Next up, let's ease into the Gothic, eerie, and cinematic elements of fall albums. The albums on this list to me either feel like one or all of those words and are just like perfect soundtracks to me to October nights. Let's start off with none other than Siouxsie and the Banshees' Juju. This is definitely a perfect album for fall, October, especially when you are leading up to Halloween. Lyrically, the album plays into themes of darkness and mysticism. Tracks like Spellbound and, of course, Halloween in particular really capture that feeling of the fall season when everything maybe feels a little bit darker. Spellbound, now while the song is technically about being under the spell of love, it definitely has those like witchy kind of undertones that to me just scream October. The opening notes alone in that song feel like the beginning of a haunting movie. And of course, Halloween, that one is just self-explanatory. Siouxsie's voice is just the perfect centerpiece for the season. She has this commanding witchy presence that is just honestly ethereal in a way, and there's something about the way that she delivers every line that encapsulates the vibe of fall. The overall vibe of this album, it is dramatic and gothic, and listening to it in the fall as it leads up to Halloween, it's not just an album, it's an experience. Next up, we have none other than the Cramps' songs The Lord Taught Us. To me, this is perfect for fall. It's creepy, it's campy, and a little bit unhinged maybe, which makes it such a fun listen this time of year. This one is perfect for spooky season, as people like to say. The Cramps just have that raw psychobilly sound that I absolutely adore. The music, it's stripped down, but intense. You have those buzzing guitars, the reverb, and it all sounds like this soundtrack to wandering through this like campy haunted house scene in a movie. Lyrically, it's all about horror, camp, and macabre, which is everything that you want in October, right? And Lux Interior's very unhinged vocals make it even better. Standout tracks to me, I Was a Teenage Werewolf and Zombie Dance, which are both perfect Halloween party picks. If you want to put some songs on your Halloween party playlist, definitely pick those. Or if you just want to listen to some songs to get you into the mood of this whole spooky season vibe, definitely pick those. Garbage Man, though, is my absolute favorite. That one to me just sounds like fall somehow. I don't know how to explain that one, but it does. The whole vibe of it is raw, a little bit tongue-in-cheek maybe, but that to me is the charm of this album and the Cramps as a whole. Listening to this album feels like being at some underground show in a haunted house. Like, it's rowdy, spooky, but unforgettable. In that vein, I kind of want to make the Cramps a two-parter because I just can't leave out Psychedelic Jungle. This is a 2-for-1 deal that you're getting here, okay? Because I have to mention this one. Goo Goo Muck is iconic. Perfect song for this type of year. Also put that one on your Halloween party playlist, okay? And honestly, I don't care what anyone says. I think that Wednesday scene where they use this song in that dance scene, that was perfect. I loved it. I thought it was legendary. Another standout to me on this one is Voodoo Idol. It's such a creepy Halloween-esque track that I adore. And just like Songs the Lord Taught Us, Lux's vocals are on point here. Very theatrical, maybe a little unhinged, also campy, but in the best way. This one to me is perfect for October nights, Halloween parties, or just getting in the mood for the season. Next up in this category, we have Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness by the Smashing Pumpkins. Iconic album. First of all, this album is a masterpiece, if I do say so myself. That opening piano is just so beautiful to me. It just feels like an instrumental accompaniment to the colors of the leaves changing. To me, though, 1979, which I know is like one of their biggest songs, it just stands out to me as a fall song, probably because of more personal reasons. I started listening to this band around fall during the new semester when I was in college, and to me, I just associate that song with the fall semester, so I think that's a huge reason too as to why it feels like fall to me. Billy Corgan's voice has that fragile yet nasally edge that can both sound intimate and raw, but also explosive when the moment calls for it. And that to me is what fall feels like. Fall has those days that are a little bit chiller and crisper, and also days where leaves are blowing or the rain is pounding. Musically, the album is just massive. You have soft piano ballads, you have songs that feel a little bit like shoegaze, and then you have those super heavy riffs on other songs. Think about the fuzzed out guitars on Bullet with Butterfly Wings or Zero, or a softer acoustic moment like 33. To me, that range just feels like the mood of the season because you have everything from quiet, chilly days in fall to more dramatic, stormy nights. And lyrically, it's full of change, longing, nostalgia, youth, all things that you feel during fall. This is a cinematic album. It's moody. This album is the perfect soundtrack for these long walks where you're feeling very reflective with the falling leaves, or just staring outside on a gray afternoon. This album has it all, and to me, it had to be on this list. Lastly, on this list, we are talking punk, horror punk, and horror themes. These are some high energy essentials, and these records to me just bring spooky season to life. Every season, I am bringing these records out. Like, I wanted to save this for last because to me, these are the records that I listen to the most during this season. That being said, we have to start off with a band that, maybe to a fault, I talk about a little too much on this channel, and if you are watching on video, you can see them in the background. That is none other than Misfits. Being that they are one of my favorite bands of all time, I listen to them all year round, but I think during this time of year is when I really see a spike in my listening hours to Misfits, and I find myself coming back to them a lot. For obvious reasons, their whole aesthetic is rooted in horror themes and horror movies, those campy B-movies, and these dark, poetics, sometimes shocking lyrics that just fit right into spooky season. If you're a horror movie fan, this is the band for you. Okay, so many of their songs pull directly from horror and sci-fi titles and stories. It creates the perfect soundtrack for fall, especially for October. If I had to just pick one record to give to you today, it would be Walk Among Us. This one just screams Halloween to me. It's campy, it's catchy, it oozes that spooky B-movie energy. The songs are short, punchy, and fun. They're exactly what I love about this band. I mean, tracks like Night of the Living Dead and Astro Zombies, those pull directly from horror films. And then you have Vampira, a song that is inspired by the horror hostess herself. It's just nonstop Halloween spooky horror from start to finish. Now, if you've been here before, you probably know that to me, the Danzig era of Misfits is what I love. And yes, that is all that I listen to. I'm going to be so honest. Sorry, not sorry. Just my opinion. A lot of people definitely don't have that opinion, but I don't care. I do only listen to the Danzig era of Misfits, so I want to touch on the rest of the Danzig era because I just think it is perfect for this season, and you can't just have Walk Among Us. You also have to have Static Age. It's raw, it's lo-fi a little bit. It's perfect for fall's darker, reflective side. And it still shocks with those twisted horror themes, those shocking themes. I mean, Last Caress. But it also has some like moodier Halloween-esque songs. Theme for a Jackal to me, totally underrated. One of my favorite songs. I love Danzig's vocals on this song in particular. It's underrated. It's a little bit eerie. And to me, it just sounds like Halloween. It is a standout Halloween song for sure. And then we have Earth AD/Wolf's Blood, which definitely is the heaviest and most aggressive of the three. It's very relentless and chaotic and just drenched in horror. I mean, tracks like Hellhound, Demonomania, Devilock, Blood Feast, basically the whole album that I am listing, but it just makes it such a great Halloween listen. Altogether, these albums to me just hit every angle of the fall vibe, from fun, campy Halloween energy to darker horror, macabre tones. Misfits to me basically are October in a nutshell. While yes, I listen to them all year round, they are my entire playlist the whole month of October. Dance with me, my dear, on a floor of bones and skulls. Music is our master, the devil controls our souls. Similar to Misfits, Dance With Me by T.S.O.L. is an album I listen to all year round, but when October hits, this album and I, we're best friends, okay? We're attached at the hip, and even the cover alone feels like artwork that I would hang up in my house during this time of year. And like Misfits, T.S.O.L. definitely leans into horror and Gothic inspired themes. Code Blue, just the perfect shock value song for Halloween. It's over the top, it's in your face, and it feels like it was just ripped from a campy horror flick, or could just be perfectly placed in one. And then the title track, Dance With Me, has that same vibe. I honestly feel like I could hear that and see that playing over the credits of a campy horror movie as well. But to me, Jack Grisham's vocals just tie it all together. He has this almost like drawn out Gothic delivery in a way that is also a little bit campy and upbeat, so it just has that like perfect horror-esque edge. To me, this album, it's spooky, it's fun, it's horror filled, it's punk, and Dance With Me is such a great record for Halloween. Okay, yes, I know I just talked about Misfits, but hear me out. Samhain is the Halloween listen in my opinion. While I love Misfits, Samhain just has that extra horror spooky edge that I truly adore. And I definitely need to talk about November Coming Fire. This whole album is filled with those darker, macabre themes. Think of Mother of Mercy, November's Fire, and their version of Halloween 2, which I actually prefer because it kind of leans into that early thrash metal vibe. Songs like To Walk the Night have this really like eerie feel that make the record feel like the soundtrack to these dark fall nights. Glenn Danzig, his vocals are just the centerpiece. They're deep, they're commanding, and just filled with that Gothic crooning quality. Listening to November Coming Fire, it feels like stumbling into this like underground ritual in the woods on Halloween night, like dark flames and shadows and all this. Like, that is just what I feel. It's like it has this gloomy ceremonial feel to it, tailor-made for Halloween and for this season and for any scene in a horror movie. I want to see one of these songs. This brings us to our honorable mentions. When I sat down to write this episode, I had so many albums to the point where I could not stop writing. These are albums that were really close to making it to this episode, but the ones that I chose, I just felt like I could not make the episode without. First of all, we have Folk Bitch Trio. If you don't know this group, you gotta listen to them. They just put out an album this year. Now would be a good time. It is so beautiful and melodic, and this album is perfect for a fall day. Vampire Weekend, they're self-titled. This one, it just screams like back to school for me. I used to listen to these songs a lot during college. Phoebe Bridgers, Punisher, sad, moody, perfect for fall. Any Fleet Foxes album to me is just perfect for fall. This one is a song, but Sweater Weather by The Neighborhood, that is such a fall song. Hosier's self-titled album, it's so full and warm, and it has those standout tracks to me that are Jackie and Wilson and Someone New that are great fall listens. I always find myself coming back to those in the fall. AFI, The Art of Drowning, that is another great punk listen for the season. My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade, it is just a classic that fits right into the vibes of spooky season. Since I talked about Misfits and Samhain, I gotta throw Danzig in there, and to me, Danzig 1 through 4, it's just heavy and moody and made for colder, darker nights. And lastly, Purple by Stone Temple Pilots. That one might be a little weird to some of you, but I used to listen to that so much in college that it just now feels like a new semester to me. Whenever I hear it, I feel like I'm back on campus for the fall semester. So that one had to be last on my honorable mentions list. So that is it for my fall album picks. But as always, I really want to hear from you. What albums do you find yourself coming back to this time of year? Is it because of the vibe of the album, the sound, the lyrics? What is it? I want to know. You can give me one album, you can give me 10 albums, I don't care. Just give me albums that to you feel like fall and you find yourself coming back to this time of year. And if we share any of the same albums, I would love to hear that as well. Thank you so much for watching or listening. I would love it if you follow along the podcast. You can follow me at Pretty in Punk Pod on Instagram or TikTok. If you want to listen to the podcast, I am available on all streaming platforms as well as YouTube for video versions, which are my personal favorite. Please go enjoy the almost fall season. Put on your favorite fall album, and I will see you next time in the next episode.